Hi you guys, welcome back. And yes, that is the People's Trustee, Tiffany Henyard. And that's the best picture I could find, okay? I think it really shows off, the softness in her eyes, just the overall loveliness. That is Tiffany Henyard, all right? Love that picture. What do you guys think? But all kidding aside, this video is about how Tiffany Henyard was able to win over the residents of Dolton. Now, you hear a lot of people saying they voted for her, they deserve what they voted for, but just keep in mind, their decision to vote her in as mayor didn't just happen overnight, okay? Tiffany Henyard has had her little hands in politics for a little over 8 years before becoming mayor. She was a trustee for 8 years, and during those 8 years, she used every opportunity to sell herself to the residents of Dolton. So in this video, I will give some examples of Trustee Tiffany Henyard fighting for transparency and change in her local government. I will also be comparing it to Mayor Tiffany Henyard, and the many contradictions and hypocrisies will speak for themselves. And really quick, if you're a returning supporter of mine, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you're new here and like what you hear already, go ahead and hit that like button too. All right, let's get started.
The next item for discussion this evening was presented by Trustee Henyard under the general topic of housing.
Thank you. Good evening, residents. Thank you for coming out this evening. Pretty much, the board went to a conference in Nashville, Tennessee. We learned a lot of different things as it relates to housing. That's why you see this discussion going on. And the one thing that I liked the most was about the vacant property ordinance. What that entails is, if your property is vacant, you have to come to the village and register it as a vacant property. The fee currently now is only $50. Now, I did talk to Ms. Fields, who's Director of Housing, and she wants to increase that to, I believe, $100. And then I also talked to Charles, who's the building inspector, and he wants to increase it to $100. So now I'm asking that the board consider increasing the fee from $50 to $100. But on top of that, I'm all for residents. I would like it to stay at $50 for the Dolton residents, and then for the banks, charge them $100. Because I don't understand or see that a Dolton resident will come to the village and pretty much telling themselves and say, well, my property's vacant and we're gonna collect the $50. So we be friendly with the fees. I think you will get more people coming forward saying, my property's vacant, I'm waiting on a tenant, can it stay to the $50? When it comes to banks, when people in foreclosure or lose their homes, they should definitely register the property. And not only that, we will now have better control on what properties are vacant.
Translation, she will now know what properties are vacant.
And basically, don't you know how you driving down the street, like, who owns this property? You can come to the village and Denise will have a list, and she'll have it says vacant, and then she'll have the information basically given from the bank saying Bank of America owns this house, and then she'll have a contact information. That way no one's kind of fishing for who owns the property. But on top of that, I'm all for residents. I would like it to stay at $50 for the Dolton residents.
Let's see what being all for the residents means now.
Janetta Hull says she considered Tiffany Henyard a friend and even did campaign work for the Dolton mayor and Thornton Township supervisor. But things changed in 2021 when she was about to rent out this 3-bedroom, 2-bath home she owns in Dolton to a family and got a late-night call from the mayor.
And she's like, hey, this is Mayor Henyard. And I'm like, hi. And then she's like, I heard that you were renting your house. And I said, yeah. And I said, I have somebody that's moving in soon. And she says, no, they can't move in because I want it. And I'm like, excuse me?
Thank you guys for coming out this evening. I have two things. One, everyone knows that I'm very passionate about housing here in the village of Dolton.
Feeling pressured, Hull says she agreed to rent the house to Henyard and her boyfriend, Kamal Woods, who holds a 6-figure job at the township.
Initially, I didn't want to go on camera, but right now I feel like I'm at wit's end. I have nowhere else to turn.
A lot of people out here are struggling. A lot of people are facing foreclosure. A lot of people don't know what to do when they're hit with something like that.
Henyard signed the original lease, and on the line asking about her job.
You see here, she only put mayor for employment.
Henyard makes nearly $300,000 as mayor and township supervisor. Hull says things started to unravel this summer when she was forced to raise the rent by $200 to $2,400 a month because her property taxes went up again.
I am against the increase. And the reason being is I do talk to Dalton residents, mainly seniors, and every senior is either on a fixed income and they can't afford the increase. They barely can afford their bills now. Most of them are losing their homes, currently in foreclosure.
So with that, I had to equate that into the rent, and Kamal said that he couldn't afford it.
She says Henyard and Woods refused to pay the extra rent in August, then stopped paying altogether. Did they pay for September?
No.
Did they pay for October?
No.
That's why you're trying to get them removed?
Yes.
And I pray and want you to keep your home. So if you're facing foreclosure, in need of assistance, or any issues whatsoever as it relates to housing, please contact myself.
Hull says not only are the couple thousands of dollars behind in rent, but they also changed the locks and garage door code, so she can't get inside.
Contact myself at 708-297-6859. Again, that number is 708-297-6859. That's for anything relating to foreclosure or just need assistance so I can direct you in the right direction, please.
If I push and go over there with the locksmith and try to change them back, I think that she's going to probably have me arrested.
So Hull went to court and filed an eviction lawsuit against Henyard and Woods. But Cook County sheriffs have tried and failed to serve that suit, both at the home and Village Hall.
I'm all for residents.
Now Hull is paying a process server to track one of them down. What position does this put you in?
A very hard position. I'm between a rock and a hard place. I haven't worked in several months, and I am fearful that I may lose the house. At some point, you would have to understand that karma is going to catch up to you. Just pay your rent.
She says even if Henyard and her boyfriend come up with that money, she still wants them out of her house, which is on a month-to-month lease.
I just think that we backtrack and go over our steps and fix what we have first before we make the residents responsible for that increase.
Trustee Henyard being concerned about taxpayer dollars.
Now, if the board wants to go forward with it, as long as that you can say how we're going to recoup the dollars, the amount that we're going to spend for this see-through, then I'm all for it. If we don't have no game plan on getting the money back, I'm not for it, because we just basically sent something across the board to raise water rates. How are we going to do this? That's all.
I have one more thing to say, because I can't put a price on a human being's life.
This is
whether
not-
it be a police officer getting injured, a resident getting injured. I prefer to see, because night don't have no eyes.
And my comment to that would be, this has been going on for the last 30 years, board up companies, and it has been working. There's nothing wrong with that. This is what we learned when we went to Nashville, basically something new. All I'm saying is I'm for it as long as we can figure out how we're going to recoup the dollars. That's it. And it has nothing to do with safety. It's just the money.
How does Mayor Henyard handle the taxpayer dollars?
So I'm asking this question tonight because a lot of work that happened on Greenwood Boulevard. And supposed to be a grant that paid for all of that. But I did some research and I ain't found the grant that paid for Greenwood's development.
We keep trying to charge the residents for everything, but here we want to bring something new to the community where we're going to advocate and get the dollars from. That's it.
Ain't found the name of it. Went back through records. So I want to know the grant name and how much the grant was for, because I'm entitled to know that because I'm a taxpayer out here.
The trustees are entitled to that information as well. Let's see if they get it.
Once again, you guys had this document. You guys could have reviewed it before we got here. And like y'all always do, grandstand about things y'all don't know about. You make false accusations up here. People can assume, make allegations about what's going on. People out there are judging off of hearsay. False allegations about spending and what it is that I'm truly doing. If you truly wanted to know the answer, Trustee Steves, you could have called me and asked, and then I would have gave you the answer so you wouldn't be up here just throwing things to the public. As it relates to what's on the agenda for a loan, it's because we do not and will not have our tax money in time, which we normally have. That's what it's for. It has nothing to do with paying for things that I have here, because the things that I'm paying for that's for community is through a grant. So please get your facts right before you speak. Please.
What grant we got? What grant we got?
See how all you want all the questions now?
Grant we got.
See how all you want all the questions now?
Why can't questions be answered at a board meeting?
Because in essence, what I see is that my tax dollars been paying for Greenwood's development. If there's no grant, my tax dollars.
I'm not gonna go back and forth, but you can have a meeting with me. We can go over what grant we have and how we're building out the ice arena. So you can stop telling people that we're using funds of the taxpayers and this grant money that we're using to build these things I'm creating.
Every party that's being given on Greenwood Boulevard, my tax dollars are paying for. Every television that's being raffled off, every $100 gift card, my tax dollars are paying for that, and I got a problem with that. So I want some answers to my questions. I understand one of the seniors said she's happy that the citizens are coming together and enjoying themselves. That's all well and good. We don't need a party out here every week. We need some infrastructure.
I am against the increase. I do talk to Dalton residents, mainly seniors, and every senior is either on a fixed income and they can't afford the increase. They barely can afford their bills now.
I don't want my taxes going up because I understand that businesses are not receiving their licenses. So that means that the businesses are going to close up and our taxes are going to be raised.
Your 3 minutes are up. Thank you. So I don't think by increasing anything at this moment would be feasible for the board to move Dalton in the right direction.
Why doesn't she think it's the right time to raise taxes? Let's find out.
The current administration at that time, and I had suggested that we raise the water rate because the city of Chicago was charging us for more water. So everybody was worried about getting elected. No, it's going to cause a problem with election. We're not going to raise it.
What politicians do when y'all see them just at a standstill with a tax levy is during the election year. The election year, they don't raise the taxes, so when they're at your doors, they can say, I didn't raise your taxes.
So everybody was worried about getting elected. No, it's going to cause a problem with election. We're not going to raise it.
But then right when they get in office, the next year, they raise the property taxes, as you can see. So sometimes you'll see it the same, and you wonder why it's the same. It's not because they didn't need the money. It's because you had to re-elect them, so they didn't raise the property taxes.
So consequently, we suffered a 125% increase on the water that was not passed off to the residents. And now we're in a predicament like this where we owe the city of Chicago close to $2.8 million in water bills.
It's not because they didn't need the money. It's because you had to re-elect them, so they didn't raise the property taxes.
Trustee Tiffany Henyard talking about RFPs.
They're telling us that they will send a letter out to every one of the residents saying, if you want to buy this, you buy it. If you don't, you don't.
So what makes this any different, Mr. Urban? It's just coming across the board. Instead of them door knocking, trying to advocate for business.
They're looking for the partnership that we are saying that this is a reputable company.
Okay, so if that's the case, everybody know how I am up here. Why don't you have more than one company? You only have one company advocating for this.
There's not a lot of companies out there like this.
Okay, well again, either have 3 proposals. Okay, well again, either have 3 proposals.
RFPs, requests for proposals, give different companies the option to bid for a job or contract with the village. Here's an example of a towing company responding to an RFP from the village.
I want to thank you for allowing me to do a presentation on a proposal for towing and storage services. We are JTS Towing and we're located in Dalton. We have been in towing for over 30 years. Our skills and work ethics go above and beyond most. So we would like to be taken into consideration to be placed on the rotation list along with the current tow company. We would be proud to serve the village and the residents of Dalton as a police tow company provider. If given a fair chance, we can prove above and beyond expectation as well as give revenue back to the village and its residents. And I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to present JTS to the village and its residents and hope that we can down the road work together and be placed on the tow rotation list.
How does Mayor Henyard handle RFPs?
We talk about facts. What do we know? We all know that we've only had one meeting a month when we're supposed to have two. The first meeting is because there's supposed to be a cow meeting for discussion. This is the meeting where RFPs are supposed to be presented. I keep saying we're spending all of this money on all of this work. Where are the contracts and where are the RFPs? You don't see them. Why? Because all last 7 cow meetings have been canceled. How, without RFPs, how do we know that we're getting the best bang for our buck?
Everybody know how I am up here. Why don't you have more than one company?
Who simply just tells one person to do the job? Typically, a person have 4 and 5 quotes.
Okay, well, again, either have 3 proposals, have 3 different
But
people.
we're not paying for anything.
I
It's up to
understand
the
that.
residents.
Exactly. The key word you just said is up to the residents.
But not with us. She assigns 4 and 5 different people to do jobs and then say, hey, surprise trustees, here's the warrant list, here's $1 million. Don't say anything, don't ask any questions, just approve it. No one, we all homeowners here will get work done to our home. Who simply just tells one person to do the job?
So again, I think it should go to the residents to decide if they want us as a board to vote this in our community.
There's supposed to be a cow meeting for a discussion where we as a board ask questions so the residents can have the answers at that time. This is not about us at the moment. This is about your tax dollars as well.
You get the point. Let's look at meeting agendas.
Excuse me, Mayor Pro Tem, I had something I just want to put on record.
Sure.
I would like to know, what is the time frame for putting things on the agenda, clerk?
As communicated to the trustees numerous times, the agenda for department heads is the Monday before. The deadline is the Monday before the Monday meeting, so it'll be 1 week before. And for trustees, it's noon on Tuesday before.
Okay, I sent the email out to the entire board. I don't like how things are being done as far as us putting items on the agenda. If the deadline is what you just stated, that did not happen. You guys added something extra to the agenda on Friday.
Yes, ma'am, as explained in my email. But to elaborate further, there were 2 items added to the agenda. One was the fire engine item, which is an item that was tabled by the trustees when they last met. More to the point, the other item, the tax anticipation warrant, was submitted by Attorney Kankar. He is the attorney that represents the village on tax and bond-related matters, and is explained to me by Ms. Redmond that should we not put it on the agenda for this evening, we would have no choice but to have a special meeting either tomorrow or Wednesday.
Okay, thank you for the explanation, but when we place rules, let's stick to the rules. Thank you. And that's for
Ma'am?
the record. Everything I stated is for the record.
Yes, trustee, and I would ask that that would be reciprocal.
Now, how does Mayor Henyard handle meeting agendas?
Now I would like to actually give the village clerk's report. Now, each month, the village clerk submit minutes to go on the agenda. Each month, my minutes are not placed on the agenda to be approved by the Board of Trustees.
I don't like how things are being done as far as us putting items on the agenda.
Last week, I submitted 4 sets of minutes for 4 meetings that we recently had, March 21st, April 1st, and then 2 on April 8th. Why my minutes are not being put on this agenda to be approved, I do not understand.
All right, so next we have village clerk's reports.
Good evening, everyone. I'm requesting approval of minutes as follow. Special board.
Excuse me.
Yes.
It's not on there, so you can't approve the minutes?
I submitted this packet for the agenda.
Yeah.
It was with the board packet. I don't know why it's not on the agenda, but this was included in the board packet.
Okay. Well, you can't approve something that's not on the agenda.
This board is a Board of Trustees meeting, right? The board don't get to put anything on the meeting agenda, and neither do I.
If the deadline is what you just stated, that did not happen. You guys added something extra to the agenda on Friday.
Please explain why it's not on the agenda, because I submitted it in time to go on the agenda.
Okay, well, I don't know
And
why.
You also have a copy of each packet. It's in the packet that was submitted to everyone.
Okay, I don't know why it's not on there, but it's not under village clerk's report.
Can we do an amendment to that tonight so that we can get the minutes approved?
So you could do it for the next.
Asked me for minutes for December,
January. I have all of that prepared today so that it can be distributed as requested. I've had several requests for these minutes.
Okay, so
I'm here today.
So basically, you can do this at the next meeting because it's not on the agenda for a vote?
The agenda was removed from my office so that the mayor can control the agenda. That's why no one up here can put anything on this agenda but her.
Well, I just say I don't know why it's not neither, but yeah, you could do that.
It's everyone, Mayor, we have to stop. I have 5 sets of minutes here because they're not being put on the agenda. When do we get them approved?
Okay, so again, you can do that at the next meeting to get the minutes approved. That's not an issue. So that's where we are. Do you have any other reports?
This is not the Tiffany Henyard meeting. This is the Board of Trustees meeting. So she should not be the only person who can place things on this agenda.
That are here on this agenda, plus the 2 meetings that the clerk added to this. I make that motion.
Second. Okay. I just stated that we're not going to make a motion for the illegal meetings. Y'all can vote on them separate. You don't have to include them in the 2 legal meetings. It's 3 legal meetings that's on this agenda. You have to vote on what's on the agenda. Then you guys can make a motion for the 2 meetings that you would like to add. We're not going to make a motion for the illegal meetings.
Let's see how those illegal meeting claims turned out.
Then they turn around and have a secret squirrel meeting at the park district. Why? Just to pass their narrative of the things they want done.
I couldn't believe I looked at this agenda and saw the word secret squirrel on a freaking, on a professional agenda for a village.
And then the very next, I believe 2 days later, they had a special meeting.
Secret squirrel meeting.
If you look on that first page, she has secret squirrel meeting on there. You know what made that necessary? 11 council meetings.
I'm thankful that this meeting is here. For 2 years, 3 years, she said everything was here was illegal. Now she's forced to come here to do the right thing. The judge forced her to come here to do the right thing. And she's been saying that secret squirrel meeting for how long? And people will believe in it?
Attorney.
For purposes of the Open Meetings Act, July 5th, August 1, and August 10 are the only minutes that are listed on the agenda. It would be my advice to vote separately in the event there's a challenge. The 2 minutes that are not listed on the agenda, as the public has not been given.
Attorney, may I make note that I have submitted these minutes for the past 2 board meetings, and they have not been included on the agenda. So I have submitted them for the last 2 months, and they're not showing up on the agenda.
I'm not saying you can't vote. It's my advice that they be voted separately in the event there's a challenge. There's 3 items listed on the agenda.
Thank you.
There are 2 items that are not listed on the agenda. If there's a challenge, they could only challenge the 2 items that are not listed if it's a challenge under the Open Meetings Act.
All right, let's move on to credit cards.
Credit card invoices. I've asked at the last board meeting, and I don't know if you guys recall, the mayor stated that we could put the credit card bills on the warrant list. It is not on here. I've asked, and I cannot approve bills and not know what I'm approving because I have nothing in front of me.
We do not want to go back and forth. But then you all say out of your mouths, we have credit card statements that we don't have.
The mayor could have went on a trip with the credit card. How would I know? Because the bill is not in front of me. So again, Mayor, what happened to you putting the credit card bills on the warrant?
They're missing. They're clearly missing if we do not have them, if they were not emailed to us, if they were not sent to us. And as we all know, my viewpoint access, our access has been denied, restricted, should I say. So yes, we can access it, but we cannot look up receipts.
I don't put the credit card bills on the warrant list, and you have the opportunity to vote no on anything that's on the warrant list.
I understand my rights as a trustee. I don't need you to inform me. My question was, I asked for you to place it on the warrant list.
I don't put things on the warrant list.
No. Last board meeting, you stated we can, and it's not on here. The credit card bills. I would like to see itemized credit card bills on the warrant list moving forward for the record, because I cannot make good decisions based off of the information you're giving me without the credit card bills. I need that.
I remember as a trustee, you sat in that very seat and you stated to the mayor at the time that you would not blindly vote on bills or options that you've met on things that were purchased that you cannot present receipts or evidence for.
Other than that, I am voting blindly, so is the entire board. So I would advise the board to look into that and understand what they're voting for, because we're just voting for stuff and not knowing what we're approving.
then vote no.
I know that, Mayor, but my question to you is, why isn't the credit card bills on the warrant list? As you stated, it would be.
The communication between the department heads and trustees.
And I got one statement. This for all department heads. When anybody on this board asks you for anything, I need you guys to deliver it. We shouldn't have to wait 2 weeks into another board meeting to ask you guys for something we asked 2 weeks ago.
Mayor. Yep, go ahead. The proposed budget that I guess Mr. Freeman is talking about was not attached to the agenda. You said it's not attached to the agenda? That's correct. When they emailed everything over, they didn't send a budget over? That is correct. Keith?
We have not, we did not actually send it over, Mayor. We just posted it. We're here for discussion and a copy is available for everyone. I've made that in my original administrator's report that a copy was made for everyone in the front, including the trustees. I believe I said that in my first report, Mayor. Thank you.
That is my issue. My trust is gone as it relates to Superintendent Matt Stacy. Anything he tells us is always an issue or a problem. And that's a problem for me because you're the department head. So when you tell us something, we vote on exactly what you guys say because you're the department head. So I need you guys to get that in order before you come across this board, any department head. End of my statement.
All right, any discussion? Can I be recognized? Go ahead. First off, for clarity and transparency, when you keep saying that everything you got, we got, Keith Freeman just went in his office and sent this to us when we just said something about it at, what time is it? 8 o'clock at night. We did not have the credit card bills. We have not had the credit card bills since March when we got it. The finance director sits here every meeting and says absolutely nothing. I don't understand why we have to wait till Sunday to Monday, 2 hours before the meeting to get stuff that you want us to vote on.
So why didn't this come up before? Why are you just bringing this to the board now? Number one. Number two, why you just not sending us a package at 4:46? I got that today.
The credit card bill was increased to $50,000. We had a $25,000 limit. They requested a $50,000 limit. We don't get the bill. The only way we see that it's coming out is on auto pay.
So that's my other issue. So we didn't even have time to digest what it is you're stating here. But yeah, y'all throw it in front of us and get upset when we go against what you're saying, but we don't even know because we didn't read it. You just sent it to us.
That's how we seeing how much is being spent. So we have no idea what they swiping that card with. And here she goes say, I don't have the card. I don't care who have it. If we're here to make sure that we supposed to check and balance, then hold us accountable and make sure we get it. We can't do it if we don't have it in front of us. It's not fair to us. So for him to go in there and send us something that you want us to vote on right now, it's unfair. It's not fair.
So why? We talked about all this. We're supposed to get better, but y'all study doing the same thing.
The email that did go out, the trustees' house, is in reference to the elaboration of the budget because it's all summarized and clumped together versus being itemized as it was never responded to.
May through August is a time period. If you want the actual invoice, I can have that scanned over to you.
Yeah, I want to know what we're paying people for. And then underneath there, the Sony Black Productions for video editing, $3,250. What video editing are we doing for that kind of money? What projects was authorized for that and who authorized it?
Those are for various events that were recorded. The details of which events I don't have in front of me, but those invoices can be emailed.
Okay. Well, I think I asked in the past, like, if y'all could be a little more detailed when y'all give us this, so I don't have questions when we get here, because that's a lot of money to me for video editing. So if you can give me that, I will appreciate that.
There are some concerns on this budget. Once again, we got it on May 2nd, I believe, at 3:26. You wanted us to talk about it and discuss it at a public hearing for the residents. The residents hadn't even been eligible to look at it because we had just got it a couple of hours before the meeting.
Chris, you find the answer to my question?
Not yet. I gotta see where, I don't have access to the billing from here. So when I get to, I can look into it and get you an answer.
So you don't know why y'all charge us $28,000? And is that for just 1 month or several months? Do you know that at least?
I know that it's for work that we've done for you guys over the last month and a half, but I don't have the invoice in front of me, and I don't have access to the invoices from my computers.
Okay, well, look, I think you need to come here more equipped, because I'm going to always have questions about this warrant list, and you never have an answer, especially as it relates to your billing of $28,000. I at least thought you could tell me, trustee, this is from April to May. You can't even tell me that. Someone put this together so it can go before the board. So when y'all put it together, we're voting on what you guys write. So I'm saying that make sure it's accurate and correct so that I'm giving the right vote, per se. I have to ask a million more questions just to get gloves out of a PW shop. That's crazy. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, Trustee Denton.
I just wanted to make note that when we get the warrant list, it's a Friday. It's late Friday. When do we have time to actually delve into looking at invoices to see exactly what's going on?
I want to make a statement that the business owner called me, that wants a Class 8, he called me today at, I think, 6:15 about this. So there's no way I could vote on this tonight when I'm just getting information, especially what he wants to do. I'm entitled to ask him these questions as a board member. So we're just going through proper procedure, and we can't just rush stuff through. We have to do our due diligence. That's all we want to do. We want to do things right in the court. That's it.
Then we wouldn't have, if we got it sooner, we could jump on it, delve into each individual item, and get a clear understanding when it's time for the board meeting on Monday.
Saturday, I should not get the bill Saturday. None of us should get the bill Saturday. Sunday, nothing. We just got the payroll reports. We don't know what's being spent. It's not personal towards the employees. We're just trying to do our job to oversee the taxpayers' money. And it's spent now without checks and balances.
Yeah, I agree.
So we got this Friday evening. I got noted here 1926. Saturday, nobody's around. Who gonna call Saturday and Sunday?
Well, I would call Keith Freeman on a Sunday when I could have had it Friday or Thursday, and I could have reached out and doing work hours. I'm not calling him on a Sunday about this when I could have got it Friday.
One thing we pride ourselves on here at Thornton Township is transparency.
And you tell your department heads not to give us information.
It's not true.
Oh, yes, it is.
The problem is when the trustees come in, and this village attorney has reminded the trustees that you cannot interfere with employees' day-to-day work operations.
We have bent over backwards for you. We have sent emails out to you, text messages out to you. We've given you documentation. We printed it, we emailed it. What more do you want us to do?
And it's been a constant problem. Some of the employees have told me that they fear, since you've taken authority from me to hire and fire, they fear being fired by the trustees if they don't give them the information.
Real soon, you are becoming, what's the word I want to use? You harassing the staff.
I've had employees from every office tell me about how they've been interrupted by trustees, and trustees demand that they want information just at that time, disturbing them, whatever they're doing with their job duties. And the village attorney had put a letter out, not to the new trustees, but previous trustees, in regards to the interference that they caused with the employees.
The staff don't feel comfortable with you constantly calling them, asking them for things.
Well, I think we know. Same, different toilet, right? Well, you guys, that's going to be it for today. Once again, if you enjoyed the video, please remember to leave it a like. And if you're new here, subscribe.
It's unacceptable. We're not trying to hurt anybody. We're just trying to do our jobs and be responsible with the taxpayers' money. And we would just sit here and just vote for everything, and then look up, and when it's budget time comes, we're broke, or with stuff that's overspent. Guess who's going to get the blame for that? We will get the blame for that. So if we're not allowed to do it, then we got to make a stand somewhere. That's all I'm saying. This is not personal towards any employee. All I'm asking for is be transparent and give us the information that we need to make the proper decision. That's it.
So I don't like the fact that people keep saying, oh, we didn't get it in a timely manner, we got it too late, or whatever. You still have to make it do what it do.